When the virus in Raccoon City became insanely out of control, Umbrella mercenaries known as the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service had to be sent in to try and contain the situation. But as expected, they suffered many casualties and Umbrella abandoned them. Carlos Oliveira and his comrades were sent in to deal with the outbreak. In the canon series, Carlos is with the Delta platoon, which includes Mikhail Victor and Nikolai Zinoviev. But in the manhwa of Resident Evil 3 The Last Escape, their team includes his friend Jeff, Nikolai, Mikhail, and a few others that aren't quite visible. Now, the moment Carlos and his comrades had arrived, Raccoon City was a terrifying sight to see from above. Carlos prepares for what lies ahead, and Jeff tells Carlos that he's very unsure about this mission, and he has a feeling that he might not be able to see his wife again. Carlos replies, "I think we all know the answer to that question. We are soldiers, and as such, we are expendable." As they close in on their destination, Jeff asks out loud, "Is it time?" A moment of silence digs deep before Nikolai replies, "It's time." Everyone prepares a drop, and Carlos says to himself, "This is it. We fight or we die." They see the Raccoon City police force down below, forced to fight the zombie outbreak, and now they have the chance to lend their support and work together to eradicate the living dead. Hundreds of rounds are shot at every direction, killing those who were once citizens of a peaceful town, now filled with holes and missing limbs after mindlessly infecting others and feeding off the flesh of the living. But even the might of modern weapons could not stop the zombie horde, for the dead far outnumber the living. And not long after, the police lines were overrun by the walking dead. Bullets may stop one of them, but another always takes its place, and one by one, the police forces fell to the horde. Jeff, Carlos, and those who were left alive, retreat was the only option, or face death at the hands of these vicious zombies. But for Carlos, death was not an option. The battle against the zombies continued, and Carlos would let nothing stop him, as he knew it would end whether he lives or dies. So in a fit of rage, he continues to kill everything around him. But no matter how many they killed, the wave of zombies would just keep on coming. Carlos and Jeff fight side by side, unsure of whether their comrades are still alive and fighting. Jeff lets Carlos know that he doesn't think they're going to make it. The battle is lost, and they've got to get out of there. While Carlos continues to fight, Jeff suddenly finds a way out, but with the many hordes of zombies headed their direction, and they both might not be able to make it into the manhole. So Jeff does the utmost sacrifice and pulls Carlos into the manhole, saving him from being devoured alive by the hungry living dead. Carlos is pushed to safety, and he shouts, "What the hell are you doing?" Jeff tosses him his necklace and replies, "Take this, and give it to my wife. One death is better than two." As Jeff closed the manhole cover, Carlos would never forget those words, for if he didn't complete his mission and live, his friend Jeff would have died in vain. Carlos wanted to stay by his friend's side and fight till the very end, but there was nothing he could do, for now he has to survive and find a way back to the surface. Jeff should be proud that he could save at least someone, but he could not save himself. And when the battle was over, the last hope Raccoon City had was lost. But how could this happen? With so much firepower, was victory not assured? But then again, no one was ever prepared for this kind of attack. Moments later, we see an Umbrella helicopter flying over Raccoon City, dropping off special canisters containing BOWs. We then see Nikolai, who managed to survive the recent battle against the hordes of zombies. But it appears that he was made well aware of the drop mission through his earpiece. The helicopter drops one of the canisters right through a building, and the shockwave is felt by Carlos, who is still in the sewers looking for a way into the surface. After running through tunnels, he then stumbles across an abandoned laboratory. There are signs of an attack that recently occurred, but with an outbreak currently going on, there's no need to investigate what could have happened. But the real concern is what exactly was the purpose of this lab. As Carlos enters, we see many test tubes and experiments that are still alive but not fully developed. This explains much of what they've been facing off against in the streets of Raccoon City. But horrified by the disturbing sight of a mutant human fetus growing in a tank, Carlos unloads multiple rounds on every experiment, completely destroying the entire lab. He is by all means shocked at the sight of these ongoing experiments, but none of that tops off the next thing he sees. In front of him is the same logo that he wears on his uniform. He can't believe that the company he works for is what started this nightmare in the first place. There's also a document in front of him with the Umbrella logo on it, and it appears to be a file on Dr. William Birkin's discussion with the Umbrella executives about the G-Virus project. As Carlos examines it, he hears something nearby, so he pulls out his flashlight and shines it at a dark corner in the room. It appears that he is not alone. Someone nearby emerges from the darkness, and it turned out to be William Birkin himself. But what's worse is that he is in his G-infected form. Carlos quickly aims his assault rifle and fires every round that he can in hopes of wearing Birkin down and giving him a chance to escape. But it doesn't look like his efforts are doing much damage, and Birkin then prepares to strike back with one powerful swipe from his deadly claws. But suddenly, the wall behind Carlos breaks as something big has confronted them as well. Mr. X's fist clashes with Birkin's claws, and with Carlos in dead center from these lethal brutes. And this is where we end this video. The fight for survival is not over, it has just begun, and we will take a look at what happens next in a separate video. In the meantime, who do you think would be victorious in this situation? Write down your thoughts in the comments, because as of now, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if so, be sure to leave a like, share with others, and subscribe if you haven't. And if you'd like to see some extra content, or you'd like to see your name at the end of the videos, then feel free to support the channel by donating a single dollar to my Patreon. There are also additional perks for donating more than $1. The link is on the description, along with the link to my Facebook page, Tumblr, DeviantArt, and Twitter. But anyways, I'll see you all in the next video, and remember to have an awesome day.